ever think about how weird horror movie fans are? One moment they'll gleefully show you the most horrifying thing you've ever seen in your life, and then another, you're watching Jason X.
Hey, you want a beer?
Or do you want to smoke some pot?
Or we can have premarital sex.
Indie creators love horror, mostly because it's cheap, leading to some of that good shit, but also just normal shit. And games aren't any different. For every Soma and Faith, you get 2 Lust from Beyonds and 5 Backrooms games. Which leads us to today's subject, The Song of Horror. An episodic, check, survival horror game with permadeath, check, with a monster powered by advanced AI that learns from you, check. Oh man, just a few more spots and I'll get an indie game bingo. Come on, no procedural generation? No roguelike mechanics? Honestly, the Steam description is the scariest thing about the game. Oh my god, look at these difficulty options. E.T.A. Hoffman, M.R. James, Edgar Allan Poe, H.P. Lovecraft.
You're pretentious!
This game also does the thing I fucking hate and locks the final difficulty until you beat the game once. Why do so many games insist on doing this? Especially since from all the info I can find is that it just makes the mini-games harder. Oh yeah, this is a horror game with mini-games. We'll get to those. Alright, I've wasted enough time. Let's start the game already. We open on a music box. An engraving on the lid reads, "For my little Ariadne," and it's playing The Song of Horror! As the music plays, the lights start flickering and darkness starts to emanate from the box, but then some dude just slams the box shut like an annoyed dad. Damn kids, I'm getting the belt! We open to our main character, Daniel Neuer, showing up at his house in the year of our Lord, 1998. We go around Daniel's apartment a little bit until the phone rings. It's his boss! Daniel works for a publishing company and one of their writers has gone missing.
Hello.
Daniel, it's me, Etienne. Hey, we've got a bit of a major emergency going on here.
Oh, you're joking. Friday evening, and there's an emergency?
This is serious business. Sebastian Husher is nowhere to be found, and his manuscript should have been at the office by Tuesday. He won't answer his calls, and he hasn't shown up at his office at the university.
Okay, so Husher has been missing for a while now, and instead of calling the police, Etienne decides to send a publishing assistant.
I go myself, but I've got to attend Albert's performance in half an hour. Plus, Husher's house is closer to your place than it is to mine. Come on, man. The sooner you go, the sooner you'll get back home.
You're going to owe me a big fat favor.
Whatever you want. Write this down. 4 Abbott Thomas Road.
This address seemed off to me, so I looked up Abbott Thomas, and it's a reference to an old ghost story named The Treasure of Abbott Thomas. God, the developers are a bunch of fucking dweebs. Daniel reluctantly agrees, and we get one of the worst examples of exposition I have ever seen.
Again. Another Friday evening and I'm working as an errand boy. I suppose they're too important over at Wake Publishers to come looking for jolly old Husher themselves. Shit. Even I should be too important for that. Though I mustn't overstretch my complaints. Rising from my lot as a drunkard and financial ruin to that of an errand boy is actually quite an improvement. If only things had gone a bit better for the company, or I'd got on the wagon a bit sooner. Damn, Sophie did the right thing when she divorced me. I would have divorced myself in her place.
Hey boss, we got the starting scene in Daniel's apartment. Should we have some interactions that allude to his backstory? Nah, just have Daniel tell the audience, come on, let's go get lunch. What was the fucking point of starting in the apartment? It does feel like a waste because we're only there for a few minutes and never go back there. It's not like it's to help players get to grips with the gameplay because the tutorial doesn't start until we get to the House of Husher. Motherfuck! Daniel enters the house and starts hearing the song. The Song of Horror! After searching the house, Daniel finds a letter on a doorknob. The letter explains that Husher was given a music box to study by his friend Isaac Farber. Seems that the song it plays is strange. That's because it's the Song of Horror! Okay, I'm done. Daniel enters the room and finds an old rickety door. And Daniel, seeing a door that makes no sense with the floor plan, that looks older than the house, and that has an inky black sludge coming out of it, thinks, Oh yeah, Husher's probably in there. I should take a look. So then 3 days pass. What the fuck did Etienne do till Monday? The second that Saturday came and there wasn't a call about where Husher is, the police should have been called. Damn, they must take their weekend seriously in the UK. So instead of calling the police, both Etienne and Sophie decide to head over to Husher's house to take a look. But it's not only them, because we get into character selection. The game has permadeath, so you have a lot of characters you can burn through if you fuck up, and you pretty much get new characters every episode. For episode 1, we have Sophie, Daniel's ex-wife, Etienne Bertrand, Daniel's boss, Alexander Laskin, a housekeeper for Husher, and finally Alina Ramos, an electrical technician for some fucking reason. After playing through the game, the character you pick doesn't fucking matter. All those stats, they mean fuck all. Those starting items, borderline useless. The light sources, they all do the fucking same thing. Also, it's 1998. Why are people using fucking candles and lighters? The flashlight was around for nearly 100 years at this point. I chose Sophie and started going around the house trying to find Daniel. Here we learn about the main mechanics of the game. The first one is listening through doors to determine if there is anything on the other side. If there isn't, you're good. If there is, don't open the door or you die. The second mechanic is sometimes a door will start to open and you have to keep it closed by doing a QTE. This won't get annoying after 26 hours. And the final mechanic we learn is hiding. Every so often the walls will start to bleed black goo, meaning you gotta hide in a closet or under a table, or you have to do another QTE. Man, this won't get repetitive after 26 hours. With the mechanics learned, we start doing survival horror shit, i.e. solving puzzles and reading notes. First things first is that we gotta get the power back on. Unfortunately, the fuse box is fucked and we gotta find some new fuses. But I guess Husher is a fucking psychopath because the box is locked with a flathead screw. Unfortunately, the screwdriver is in a locked room. To get the key, we have to lube up this stuck drawer with oil, because you couldn't just yank a bit harder, you know? We get the key and we get the screwdriver. Now with the fuses, we can solve the fuse box puzzle. It's a basic math puzzle where you have to put the fuses in the right spot so they add up to all the numbers on the fuse box. Yeah, the puzzles are piss easy. Take this one with a leaky pipe. The leaky pipe is making it so we can't open the garage door with the garage door opener. So we have to solve this Mentha level puzzle by holding the reset button on the pump. Fucking brilliant. Now that the power is back on, we can explore all of the house, and we find out what's going on. So Husher played this music box for him and his family, and this unleashed the evil bullshit. The family started having problems sleeping, nightmares, seeing things in the dark. Turns out they also saw the door that Daniel went through. And a note from one of the kids says that he hid the key to the door in the dollhouse, and to get to it, we need to find all of the dolls. Oh shit, there's a fucking ghost girl in the attic. I mean, all of the other supernatural shit has tried to kill me. Luckily, there's a balcony so I can avoid her. Okay. I admit, this death was kind of my fault. If you look around, you can find blueprints that show which side of the balcony you can go on, and I missed that. However, this is a horror game with fucking permadeath mechanics. How was I supposed to know that the ghost wasn't gonna fucking kill me? It doesn't happen often, but this game will just have these inconsistencies that are just there to fuck you over. An example is one of the dolls. You have to fish it out of the toilet. However, in another part of the house, there's a clogged sink, and if you try to unclog it, you die with no warning. But Artemis, doesn't that teach you to be cautious? Plus, it's funny. Yeah, it's not that funny when you gotta take the walk of shame to pick up your inventory. It adds hours to the fucking game. So yeah, long story short, whenever I died, I just restarted the episode, because fuck you. You didn't win game, see? I got the achievements for no death. I make it back to the ghost girl and she gives me a collectible. In each episode, there are a set of collectibles that can give you an item. I only got 2 of the items. I got this set of haikus and a golden tooth. The haikus were the only ones I found useful because they gave you a heads up when things can instantly kill you. Well, we get all of the dolls and get the key to the magic door. Unfortunately, it's still not there. But what's this? A bunch of bodies, I think, show up in the house where you place the dolls, and they each have a torn bit of paper on them that spells out that you gotta burn the toilet doll for the door to appear. Did we really need this? I mean, fuck, it's not even a puzzle, it's just go backtrack around the house one more time, dickhead. Anyway, we burn the poo doll and we unlock the door and find Daniel. For some reason, the door doesn't lock on Sophie as well for some reason, and Daniel gets taken to the hospital.
He found me. I was feverish, dehydrated, and terrified. But alive. I don't remember much about the ride to the hospital, but I did mumble a few questions about the music box. I had heard it. The endless, grim song it played wouldn't stop hammering in my brain.
Insert joke about popular pop artist here.
I would even swear I'd seen it there on the table, on the other side of the mirror. No, impossible. There was no box. It was just a hallucination. A mirage.
A mirage? Asshole, you were in the fucking Shadow Realm for 3 days. Now is not the time for skepticism.
Well, it appears as though the Prince of Slumber will be granting us an audience. How are you feeling, Your Highness?
I had a dream. I'm okay. Thanks for coming, Lydia.
You had us all on tenterhooks. When I found you... My God, Daniel. I'm glad to see you awake.
So, I'm better. I'm fine. By the way, I found a note at the Husher house.
Daniel, the doctor said you need complete rest. Complete.
I'm fine. Really. I found this. Apparently, Husher received a music box from an acquaintance of his, a certain Mr. Farber.
What do you mean, a certain Mr. Farber? His daughter is right there, and it seems like she knows you. Shouldn't Daniel know who Isaac is? Also, this woman, Erica Farber, just shows up out of nowhere, and she isn't given a name in the cutscene. What the fuck? Daniel decides that they should investigate Isaac and the music box. Even though Daniel was stuck in the Shadow Realm for 3 days, and Sophie almost died multiple times in Husher's house, everyone is just sort of cool doing it with themselves instead of, someone more qualified. Also, Husher's family is just fucking dead, and no one mentions it, like, at all. Since we're going to Isaac Farber's for clues, I decided to play as Erica for this episode. Not that it fucking matters. We enter the antique store and go looking for dear old dad. Eventually, along with the other minigames, a new one is added. From now on, a new mechanic will be added every episode. This one, there's a scary mummy dude, and you have to hold your breath by pushing in the triggers to match the circle. Man, this sure won't get... Going through the antique shop, we find several notes explaining that Isaac is going cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, doing things like standing outside in his underwear, harassing the local drug dealers, and getting into arguments about which D&D edition is better with his customers. This seems to correspond with him getting the cursed music box, which he acquired in an auction from the Legrand family estate. But where is Isaac? Turns out that the antique store is connected to an apartment complex, but Isaac's door is locked. Well, shit. I mean, in playing as his daughter, maybe she has spare keys. Unfortunately, her door is also locked. For some fucking reason, she doesn't have the keys. Her key is locked in a Chinese puzzle box in a museum exhibit in the antique store. Makes sense to me. I keep my keys in this puzzle box here. After finally getting into both apartments, one of the doors in Isaac's place is locked. I'm sure everything is fine. We find a note telling us to find a dresser in the underground storage units. Now, instead of just telling us the fucking unit number, we have to make some sort of chemical spray and take a black light bulb slapped into a flashlight so we can follow the cum trail to the orgy. This is actually one of the better sections, because we actually have some gameplay. We have to avoid this orgy ball by going into these rooms. It's not much, but at least it's not a fucking QuickTime event.
The box isn't here. I've got it. I've had it all this time. How could it be possible? What the devil is happening to me? I have to get to my office. I must wrap it and send it to its owners. LeGrand Amsberg. They're the ones who... My office. I'm going to... I hear them crawling all over and screaming. Erica, come to my office. We'll all be there.
That's it? That's it? A tape telling us to go to Isaac's office? Why did we have to show up here? The only reason this is here is that when we leave, we can pick up this crowbar at the start of the maze. It lets us open the door. What the fuck? You know that thing I said about how I kind of like this bit? I take that back. I would have rathered some convoluted puzzle or something to get the crowbar. At least it wouldn't have been a waste of time. With the crowbar in hand, we can open Isaac's office door. And?
See if I can open it with this. Oh no. No. Dad! Dad!
I have some comments. The scene is fucking horrific. Erica opening the door, falling to her knees, but the zoom in and the music really makes it fucking goofy. If this scene was done in Silent Hill, you would see Erica's reaction, her face, her despair and hopelessness as she finds her father dead, the box that killed him in the same room. It was probably done this way since you could have chosen any of the other characters other than Erica, and it wouldn't make any sense for them to react like that. Why the fuck wasn't Erica the main character? No, seriously. It was her dad who got the music box. She has way more of a reason to be part of the story than Daniel, and she's a more interesting character. She's a punk who just returned from a trip to her dad missing and supernatural bullshit going on. Looking it up, turns out Erica is a reference to a children's book author also named Erica Farber. She wrote children's horror stories. God damn it, how many references can you fuckers shove in here?
I don't even want to think about what must have happened in his final moments. As he was hanging from that noose, with the bloody music box on the table next. I don't want to think about it, but somehow, very deep within me, I know the song was playing throughout his agony, stalking him to the very frontier between life and death.
I like how this cutscene only exists to reiterate what happened in the episode. What a great use of time that was. Daniel heads over to the LeGrant family home, and he gives the music box to the last remaining LeGrant.
Hello? Are you Miss Legrand? Ariadne Legrand?
Amsberg.
Pardon me?
Legrand Amsberg. It's hyphenated.
Oh, well, my name is Daniel Neuer, and I work for a publishing firm. Through a series of chance occurrences, I found something I believe is yours. It seems crazy. But when you listen to it...
That's its box.
No. I think it belongs to you. On the cover, it says...
I wasn't speaking to you. Thank you for bringing it back, Mr. Neuer.
Oh yeah, she's totally not fucking evil. Oh hey Erica, what are you doing here? Daniel decides to go to the university that Husher teaches at to see if he left any notes on the box. I gotta be honest, this episode feels like filler. But there are some things to talk about. This episode probably has some of the best atmosphere in the game. Occasionally when the camera switches, there will be something that wasn't there before. This might be something like someone standing menacingly, a girl drying on the floor. And there's some really good moments like solving this projector puzzle to show a picture of a door that becomes a real door. Or there's this moment where you give batteries to a guy in the bathroom stall and he gives you keys. But when you look in the stall, it's empty. The game has its moments. One of the interesting things about this game being episodic is that you can almost see the developers improving with each episode. It's just a shame that these moments get ruined with the random minigames. And I know, right? I know that puzzles in these horror games tend to be batshit insane. But to unlock this door, you have to keep this lever pulled down. And instead of tying it down with a wire or a cable, you enter the dark world and cut off an arm from a corpse. Fucking what? Oh fuck, I almost forgot the new minigame. Arms try to drag you down into the ground and you have to mash buttons to survive. Riveting. Going through Husher's notes, we find out a couple of things. One was that the original owner loved investigating and collecting paranormal tchotchkes. Then one day he went insane and killed his wife and eldest daughter, and then offed himself. Ah yes, they call that one the Chris Benoit special. Turns out he went to investigate the Abbey of St. Cecilia, and found nothing except for a transcript of a cursed song. He had it made into a music box and played it on a steamboat, where at first nothing happened, and LeGrant left disappointed. But the shift burned down a few moments later, so who knows? It seems we need to go to St. Cecilia's Abbey to hopefully find Husher and bring an end to this madness. But one last thing. In this episode, you find some documents talking about the Egyptian god Anet, and they give a description similar to the monster that follows the main characters. So all of this ghost shit is Egypt's fault. Fucking bastards. We get to play as Husher for a bit in the Abbey, and it turns out that the door in the hallway in Husher's house was actually a hallway from this Abbey, for some fucking reason. In one of the rooms, Husher starts playing Bloody Mary in the mirror and we get a fucking cliffhanger. Okay, I understand this game was released episodically, but like, what's the point of a fucking cliffhanger? We start the episode proper and I decide to play as the old man with a hearing aid. This is probably the biggest map in the game and it's long. I actually had to use a guide for this episode because I actually missed a lot of the notes, so some of the puzzles made no sense to me, like this one where I had to make it anti-rust powder to destroy a lock. To get the Husher, we gotta collect 4 keys. We also get the final minigame in this episode. And it's gotta be the lamest of them all. Ghosts attack you, and they can only be seen in a mirror, so you look into this hand mirror, find the ghost, and then flash them with this lantern. It's really easy, and it's really boring. Also, when you finish the minigame, the characters fucking say shit like this.
Oh, damn it. Is dementia playing tricks on me? This can't be real.
They do this all the fucking time. It gets even sillier when you go into the catacombs and there's a fucking tentacle monster. And the character is just like, huh, that was a bit fucking weird. Anyway, we get the keys, and when we unlock the door, Daniel comes out of nowhere to go in. Really shows that the only character that matters is fucking Daniel. Daniel goes in and finds out that Husher's dead. Damn. Sucks to suck. But luckily, the Shadow Realm sent Daniel to a place where he can get Legrand's personal diary. In it, Daniel finds a card for a mental hospital. The mental hospital is the penultimate episode. Daniel sends a character to the mental hospital to learn about Ariadne Legrand, since this mental hospital is where she stayed for most of her life. No new minigames, thank God. But that's not to say there isn't any fuckery. For instance, this fucking puzzle. First you have to piece this picture back together, which takes a while because not only is the picture in monochrome, moving the pieces is like trying to swim in fucking molasses. But then you have to use the photo and these symbols and the picture to get a door code. Right, that doesn't sound too bad. Use the symbols that correspond with certain things in the picture, and those are the numbers. However, you also have to guess that the word 7 in the note is also a fucking number. Fuck you. Another bullshit puzzle is this piano one. You shine a light in the room, and it shines on several symbols that correspond with the piano keys. Now you find a note that says, "It hates the light, but likes the song." Well, throughout the whole game, the song has been nothing but trouble. So it makes sense that you would hit the symbols that are in the light, right? But no, you have to hit the symbols that are in the dark, because that makes sense. Actually, that doesn't sound that bad. Well, it made me mad, alright? Oh, and wanna know what else made me mad? I died during my first attempt. And at first, I figured, unlike all the other times, I wouldn't restart. I was gonna let it ride since I was so close to the end of the game. That is until I noticed that when I started playing as Daniel, all of the puzzles reset. The photo puzzle, the piano puzzle, all of it. I had to restart everything from the beginning, which never happened in any other episode. So fuck it, I restarted. Do we actually find anything useful? We find a phonograph with a recording from Ariadne's doctor. In the first recording, we find the doctor is trying to get Ariadne to talk to her. So Dr. Berenice takes up Ariadne's offer to sleep at her house.
I don't like where this is going.
We see her go through a series of nightmares, and during this she somehow gets the idea that if she can bring the music box to the center of the nightmare, she can stop whatever is at the heart of it. Berenice goes down a black hole and reaches a door. It opens, revealing Baron Samedi! Fuck, I wish. No, it just cuts to black before the door opens, and we continue to play as Daniel. Daniel heads over to Ariadne's house and grabs the music box from her, and he uses the mirror to instantly transport to the door from the nightmare. So isn't that convenient? We gotta do a couple of puzzles to open the door, but they're pretty easy. The first one is of Dr. Berenice playing the music box for different mental patients. Apparently this is an actual thing she did. What a evil fucking bitch. And the other puzzle is not even a fucking puzzle. You just have to walk through a dark area looking for a crib. The door opens and Daniel places the music box in the center and is able to escape. But then...
Everything will be okay, Mrs. Legrand. And that song will never play in this world again. I must have fallen asleep. What time is it? It's getting late. Do you mind if I turn on the light?
No. It doesn't like the light. No. But it likes the song.
Sir, there was a second music box. Man, fuck you. This ending sucks. Why wouldn't Daniel just fucking leave? Oh, and it turns out Ariadne is an evil bitch. Wait, if she was working with the evil demon thing, why did she let Daniel get rid of the other music box? If LeGrant made 2 music boxes, why was that not mentioned at all, even his fucking personal diary? Why have Daniel survive the nightmare if you were just gonna kill him literally a few seconds later? They botched this super fucking hard, and it's kind of a shame. The revelation that the monster's hands that you were dealing with throughout the game were the souls of the dead trying to escape is actually a pretty cool reveal. But it's overshadowed by just how fucking stupid Daniel's death is. It would have been so much better if they just had Daniel die in the nightmare, right? The doors shut before he can get out. Ay, ay, ay. And that Song of Horror, it's not that great. And the sad part is that it's the selling points that make it bad. The 16 playable characters, only one of them matters and the rest are just used as extra lives. The procedural entity that supposedly learns about you, it's predictable and easy to avoid, making it an annoyance at best. The episodic nature? It breaks up the flow of the game, kicking you back out to the main menu every time you finish an episode. Wonderful for immersion. It kept me hooked, I tell you what. If somehow someone from Protocol Games is watching this, just make the sequel a normal horror game with Erica as the main character. You have so much to work with there. But if you really want to use those gimmicks from before, then lower the character count. Flesh those characters out. We have to not want to lose any of them. And make the monster not so mechanical. It was way too easy to understand, so it wasn't scary. Anyway, that's it for me. Peace.